Namaste viewers. Today we are going to discuss very much relevant program of present continuing turmoil in Middle East. The very topic is Ahimsa in the age of apocalypse, a Gandhian vision for cosmic sustainability amid Middle Eastern turmoil. Ahimsa, it has very broader sense in Gandhian sense. When we talk in Gandhian approach about the Ahimsa, it is not just free from the violence, but to think or contemplate anything negative, anything harmful or hurting others, even thinking or contemplating about others to harming them is a type of violence in Gandhian sense. So in your approach, in your articulation as well as action, as at the same time thinking, they must be very much positive, optimistic, and beneficial for the others. This is a broad concept of Ahimsa in Gandhian sense, which interlinked with our today's topic in the age of apocalypse, that we observe, especially the Middle East, which is very much volatile, full of turmoils. We have recently suffered humanitarian crisis over there, the war between Israel and Hamas, and in the last month that was concluded Israel and Iran war, and very recently Israel attacked Syria also. And when we observe subtly, we can find that very much humanitarian crisis, this zone of turmoil we always engaged into. So today we will discuss about Ahimsa in the age of apocalypse, a Gandhian vision for the cosmic sustainability amid Middle East turmoil. Cosmic sustainability, which is very much relevant in this context. When we talk about the sustenance or sustainability, is a UN program also in which we go for sustainable development, in which we go for a type of interconnectedness between human beings and earth, our ecology, ecosystem. When we go broader, when we start thinking universally, the concept interconnectedness between humanity, ecology, the very reason the life is possible on earth, and universally when we engage, that is cosmic sustainability we are talking about. So when we want a peace, harmony, and serenity, and a streamlined development, sustainability, in that context, the very much concept of cosmetic or cosmic sustainability come forth. We have introduced in this context about the contextualizing Middle Eastern conflict with an age of apocalyptic anxieties. We have already mentioned the different type of ongoing Middle Eastern conflicts like Israel Palestine or Israel recent time developed Israel Hamas war, Israel Iran war, and attack of Israel on Syria in recent time. Rising environmental, political, and the ethical crises demand transformative paradigms. When we observe the environment of Middle East, we can find that it is not an even climate condition on the entire Middle East. When we talk about the Middle East, we try to engage the entire Gulf country, that is Saudi Arabia, the largest country of the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, and Kuwait, and a poor country Yemen is just in the south of Saudi Arabia. When we are talking about the north part of that Gulf, that is Levant, and in that area we have Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and the most affected area of the recent turmoil. And this entire area, environmentally also, they are degraded. Desertification is very much common in Gulf. At the same time, water crisis, even food crisis. Once upon a time when it was very much endowed with the natural endowment, that was citrus fruit for there because of the climate condition, and that turning the environmental degradation due to many type of human approach or Anthropocene approach, like nuclear proliferation is also over there. And there are so many human disastrous approach that is disturbing the entire ecological and environmental degradation in the Middle East of this zone. At the same time, we found that there is political and ethical crisis also that needs a paradigmic, transformative approach. When we contextualize into the Gandhian philosophy, that resurfaces due to the moral background or moral compass, due to the various reasons. When we engage Gandhi in the sense of ecological or environmental degradation, we find that Gandhi talks that the nature has enough to satisfy the human needs, but can't his or her greed. So in this context, Gandhi was always critique of the modern civilization, industrialization, urbanization, and he always advocates for village approach, simplicity, minimalist life, self-reliance, and many type of Gandhian pillars, tenets like trusteeship. So these values, which are very much part and parcel of Gandhian approach, like Satya, Ahimsa, Swaraj, Swadeshi, Sarvodaya, Antyodaya, Nyas, or that is trusteeship, Sarvodaya, that is welfare of all, trusteeship, in which we from our days of childhood study the Gandhi's talisman, in which he talks that when we feel that our conceit is too much, we should remember the face of the person who is the most wretched, most poor and weak, and we should contemplate that whatever decision or the step we are going to take, will it be helpful for the welfare of that person? Will it help him or her to realize him or her his or her Swaraj, and will it percolate the benefit to the last bottom rock person? Possibly. So we can say, we can observe that our aham or our conceit melts away. So this is the simple principle Gandhi talks regarding the trusteeship also, that whatever we going to take a steps, that should be beneficial for the last man in the society. And regarding the trusteeship, Gandhi talks to the rich person, that any person who is very much affluent or abundant of resources he or her has, he should consider himself that he is the ambassador of the God, and the Almighty endowed him so much resources, but he should consume whatever the resources he needs, and whatever the resources left away, he should share with the marginalized, deprived, or the person who are most needy of the resources. So try to learn to redistribute or to share your extra or surplus resources with the persons or the society who doesn't have or who are in need of that. This philosophy of Gandhi is called trusteeship. So this Gandhian philosophy resurfaces as a relevant moral compass when we talk or engage about the sustainable development, cosmetic development, or sustainable development in this context. At the same time, cosmic sustainability as an integrative framework combining ethics and ecology. Gandhian approach to Ahimsa. Gandhi talks non-violent not just in action but in thought, word, and deed. So in your thinking always you should be positive, you should be always optimistic, and you should think something substantial that should benefit for the others. There is an interconnectedness between the Satya and Karuna. Means when you are talking about others, thinking about others, always think positive about him or her. Extends beyond human beings to all sentient and non-sentient life. So his approach was not limited to only animate materialistic goods, but for the inanimate things also and non-sentient life also. The foundation of Gandhian spiritual and the political philosophy are based on Ahimsa's values. Now we talk about the apocalypse as ethical crisis in the Middle East. Middle East facing wars, displacements, and ecological destructions. When we engage Middle East, we can find that due to the war and the conflicts in the Middle East, especially from the Gaza Strip, where around 60,000 people they were exterminated, killed. At the same time, the same number of people they are displaced. From the Syria also, a great number of people they are displaced. And from the entire Middle East, millions of people, they either fled away to Europe or some other took shelter some other place for their safety and security. So apocalypse seen not merely as end times but moral decay, because the people go for the violent resort, and it was a state-sponsored violent that was against a type of gullible people. They are innocent people. Sometimes in the war, the most sufferers are the dependents, like the women, children, aged persons. So violence normalized through state, technology, and materialism that exacerbate the war, that increase the chances of violence, and the only way out is Gandhian of Ahimsa, and that carries or incorporate all Gandhian values of Satya, Swaraj, Swadeshi, Nyas or trusteeship. So they are completely interlinked. So there is a need to restore moral order rooted in non-violent and justice of Gandhian approach. Gandhian response to the conflict. First one is Satyagraha. Satyagraha is struggle for the truth through moral means. We should persuade for approach. Our approach should be go for the truth. In Gandhian, the truth is the God. And dialogue, self-suffering, and the empathy replace violent confrontation. When we confront in the war zone or in the political life or the social life with our oppositions, or sometimes during the colonial time, the rulers, the Britishers, Gandhi never allow its followers to go for violent means. Even during our freedom struggle also, whenever the mob or the crowd went violent, Gandhi withdrew his movement, like Chore Chore movement of 1922. It was at a very huge and very much tremendous movement, a strong movement was there, but Gandhi withdrew the movement due to the killing of the police, British police. So Gandhi never allowed to go for answering the violence through violence, rather go for the table talk or dialogue, go for the self-suffering, like hunger strike, go for the empathy replaced violent confrontation. Make your enemy empathetic, let him or her realize the suffering as a opposite, as a sufferer you are bearing. And Gandhi come with the constructive programs as long-term peace building tool. So how to sustain the peace or perpetuate the peace in any piece of land or territory of the country. So Gandhi came with his idea of constructive programs in which he tried to inculcate or engage all the powerful tools which he derived from his Indic philosophy and the Western philosophy and the way of life. So spiritual forces that mobilized for practical transformation, Gandhi adopted these values to control the conflict or to manage the conflict, to resolve the conflict. Now we talk about the cosmic sustainability. Cosmic sustainability, there are two terms, ecological balance plus moral order. And in cosmic sustainability, there are three different entities are involved. First one is humanity, second one is nature, and third one is the universe. Means sustainability that is due to the balance between humanity and the ecosystem or ecology. Is a very much delicate balance, and that is spread out universally, that make the sustainability go beyond the universalization of sustainability. That can only be possible through a delicate balance. We should engage humanitarian approach we should go for sustainable components. At the same time, the values which can respect the livelihood of not only human beings but other living beings also. So we should approach in such a way that the entire universe should help, or we should align our development to the sustenance of other beings also. Respecting the sacredness of all life forms, planetary systems, that is cosmic sustainability, Gandhi's trusteeship aligns with the stewardship or the leadership of the ethics and harmony with the nature, not domination over it. So we should make a harmony, human beings should make a harmony between human beings and natural endowment that will make our sustainability more feasible, more pragmatic, and sustained would be continued or perpetual. Now we engage Ahimsa, a Gandhian tenet, with the ecology. Non-violence extends to the biosphere, that we should respect animals, plants, air, water, and other life-sustaining organisms at the same time factors. Gandhi lived a minimalist, the person who satisfies his needs or try to constrain his or her demands or needs. He or she is called minimalist. Eco-sensitive lifestyle, that if we try to be friendly to the ecological endowment, or we should be friendly to that, eco-friendly, rather we should be destructive or damaging the very much reason of our sustenance. That is approach, eco-sensitive approach, and that is possible through the minimalist approach, that whatever we need, we require, that must be aligned with the ecosystem that make our lives possible on the very earth. Ahimsa promotes sustainability through reducing consumption. We should use our resources as sparingly as possible, and that redefines our approach of sustainability. That approach goes through, connects through ahimsa or non-violent approach. Non-violent approach, that we should be always positive. We should talk, we should think, we should engage with others, other beings or other inanimate things also with non-violent approach. That is more reliable, with more durability, more tenacity, and that has a better perpetual sustenance. That is only possible through the Gandhian approach, and we should apply the same type of perpetual peace that is very much required for the Middle East turmoil. So Ahimsa promotes sustainability through reducing consumptions, reverence for the earth as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or world as one family. Whatever the war or conflict or the battles are on or fought between the different piece of lands, they are mostly among the nations or the countries, like Russia-Ukraine war, or Israel-Iran war, or recent time attack of Syria by Israel. These all are divided on the basis of nations. But our Samskriti, or our age-old historical past, it talks about reverence for the earth, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world is a family. So we should not be identify ourselves or divide ourselves, segregate ourselves on the basis of our creed, our nation, our ethnicity, our different type of yardstick or the sociological factors that divide us. Rather, we should consider all the human beings on the earth. They all, human beings are very much part and parcel of the earth, and it's the entire universe, entire earth, that is a family. With this concept, this harmonious concept encourage us to be very much positive and more sustaining, more perpetual peace. It derives through these inculcating ideas and thought. Violence in the Middle East, a moral lens. When we observe the violence in the Middle East, we find that there are proxy wars, and due to the war, people fear a lot, and after getting the chances, they flee away. When they flee away from that territory of zone, it is called a type of displacement. Most of them, they are aspiring to go for European countries nearby. At the same time, environmental degradation, the result or the consequences of the war is very much detrimental, and degradation, like environmental, like ecological, and that result in desertification, dehydration, water crisis, food crisis. We can observe the sufferings of our Gaza Strip. We can observe the displacement from Syria and the different war zone. Either it is Ukraine war that is suffering. The African country also, there are so many type of domestic violence, or there are civil war in country like Sudan or some Central African countries also. So the war, the proxy war, the battle or the conflicts, they lead into displacement and environmental degradation at the same time. Militarized geopolitics ignored human dignity and local aspirations, and it always brings forth the negativity or destructive approach for the sustenance. Ahimsa offer decolonial, human-centric alternative to power politics. And Gandhi challenges clash of civilization narrative with harmony. Gandhian approach, when he talks about non-violence, adopting the Satya, and the approach of decentralization of power, devolution of power, and when we consider the village as a unit, and we talk about Sarvodaya or welfare of all, or the policy and programs we adopt that should be friendly to the Antyodaya, the rise of the last person, or he should be the program and process that should be adopted in such a manner that the last person of society, he should also get benefited. Keeping in mind Gandhian values, we can easily challenge the theory of clash of civilization, very much harmonious, peaceful, and serene. That approach can bring perpetual peace in the different war zones like the Middle East as well. Gandhian tools in conflict resolution. Gandhi talks about Sarvodaya, that is welfare of all, as peace strategy. Gandhi always advocates such a policy and programs that keeping in mind the last person in the society. So it simply says that if you are going to adopt any program and policy, keep in mind the last person of the society or in the line. Whatever the policy programs you are going to contemplate or implement, if that program or policy is enforced, will the last person in the line or at the rock bottom, he or she can be benefited? If he or she can be risen, can be well fed, can get the benefit, that approach of Gandhi, of Antyodaya or Sarvodaya, help to strategize welfare of all. And this approach is very much helpful in our concept of cosmic sustainability. At the same time, Gandhi talks about a peace brigade as non-violent intervention like Shanti Sena, truth commission rooted in the repentance and the healing. Inner transformation precedes outer peace. So whenever Gandhi talks about the programs, the policy, the training, or rigorous approach, meticulous approach to impress or someone with the good values, he always expects that transformation should be within, from the soul, from the heart, not superficial or the external. That should be impacted. Either you are going to train your mind, your thinking with the Gandhian thought, that should be inculcated. You should internalize it. You should assimilate it. In the same manner, if you are going to approach your oppositions, or the person who is going against your thoughts, or a person who is rebellious to us, who is rebelling against you, who is or the different pole, you should try to transform his inner self. That approach can only be helpful in bringing some very much positive result. So this is the welfaristic approach that Gandhi talked about. Gandhi saw a spirituality at the foundation of the resistance. He talks about Ahimsa as a strength, not positivity, not passivity. And resistance without hate reclaims moral authority. converts the operations through love and example. So Gandhi was very much passionate about his approach, and he tried to solve the problem of this Middle East turmoil through global solidarity movement. Like Gandhi, Ahimsa inspired peace movement worldwide. Palestine-Israel dialogues, Syrian rebuilding initiatives that echo Gandhian ideals, and global South must reclaim moral leadership. Even the multilateralism need moral regenerations. These all ideas, this all thought is based on and asks for the peace education embedded in his curricula, non-violent diplomacy as a strategic tool, climate negotiations infused with the justice and equality, and a foreign policy that should be shaped on humanitarian ground and ethical values of Gandhi, Gandhi's approach of non-violence, Satya, and Gandhi's values of rise of all, welfare of all. These very much Gandhian tenets will help to bring a cosmic sustainability, and this is the last resort to resolve the Middle East turmoil, our neighbor of West. Thank you so much.
Are you interested in television journalism or radio journalism or online journalism? Or do you want to learn with the flexibility of open learning? Or if you are a working professional, wants to